Our next model is Eri-san. Eri-san is wearing a furisode kimono. This kimono has longer sleeves and is worn by young unmarried women. It is styled in the new kimono, a Western adaptation of wearing kimono suggested by Yu Sensei. Let me just give you a brief background of the new kimono and how it came to be. In 1995, there was a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Kobe. People lost everything. Yu Sensei was also one of the many victims. On the cruise liner called Hotel Ship Symphony, the captain let victims bathe and shower on the ship. To keep people from falling into depression, the captain called upon Yu Sensei to come up with an idea to entertain those on board with a yukata show. It is then that Yu Sensei came up with the novel idea to shorten the length of the kimono, wear t-shirts and turtlenecks underneath the kimono, and wear shoes and sneakers beneath it. She is only wearing a yellow t-shirt without the usual undergarments. Note that the length of the kimono is much shorter than traditional ones, and slippers have been replaced by pumps. Her pink obi is narrow and is accessorized with a long woven belt. Her hair is not up in the traditional style, but is kept to the side, and she's also wearing a very beautiful necklace. And she is ready for a party. Thank you. Our next model, Erica Lynn Nix. Our next model, Erica Lynn Nix, was first princess of the 52nd Japanese Queen Scholarship Program for 2011. She's also wearing a furisode. Her height accentuates the floral patterns on her kimono. She has a double collar, one white, another of red embroidery, which is accentuated by the brown of her kimono. The kimono is sewn at a diagonal, so as to give extra folds to the side. The silver obi is a han-haba obi, which is half the usual width. It is tied in the style of katanagashi, where one side is kept loose and flowing. Can you show her obi, please? Katanagashi. In front, above the obi, she has on a gorgeous decorative mae-ita kazari with beautiful pearls. The obi dome in the center of the obi decorates her obi even further. If you look closely, you will notice she is wearing a lacy tabi, the socks worn for kimono. She looks absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Our last model is Travis, who is wearing a kimono and obi handmade by Yu Sensei. The fabric is denim with colored borders. The matching obi of the same material as the kimono and can be easily worn with boots and or shoes. Thank you, Travis. So, how was the show? Were you able to enjoy it? Here now, in part 2 of this program, we will look at the different kimono according to its hierarchies. We will also discuss on what occasion each of these can be worn and how we can match them with different colored obi. Now, there are many protocols in wearing kimono. The simplest of those are the design motifs need to match the season. For instance, one would not wear an iris pattern in the fall, just like you wouldn't wear a Christmas sweater during Halloween. Another important protocol is understanding the hierarchy of kimono. Choosing the right kimono according to its hierarchy is a level of dressing that is vastly more complex than in other cultures. In simplest terms, the hierarchy can be classified as casual, semi-formal, and formal. The occasion determines the class of the kimono you wear. Please look at this slide. On the first column, the kimono is listed from tsumugi, homon, tsukesage, iromoji, homongi, tomesode to furisode. It goes from casual to formal. On the second column of the obi, starts with hanhama obi, hitoe, nagoya, furo obi, and then finally the maru obi. We use the maru obi for the most formal occasions, furo for semi-formal, and nagoya for casual. In our presentation, we will mainly use the furo and nagoya obi. So let's start with tsumugi. Modeled by Chisako-san, she is wearing a Shiro Oshima tsumugi. This one is from Kagoshima in a region called Amami Oshima. Just because this kimono is of a lower rank does not diminish its value or beauty. This Oshima tsumugi is of very high quality and quite expensive. It is hand woven on a weave with threads that have been dyed in musk. The threads running across give it beautiful sheen. It is a single-sided with lining which makes it cool to wear in the warmer months. Only when you touch the fabric can you tell its weight and whether it's single or double-sided. The women's tsumugi, unlike the men's, uses geometric and floral threads. The blue obi contrasts well with the white kimono. Thank you, Sato-san. Our next model, Noriko-san, is wearing a double-sided navy blue tsumugi, which comes from Tochigi and Ibaraki prefectures. This also is a hand-woven tsumugi made 100% of silk. The fine technique used in this kimono makes it very valuable. The geometric shapes of blue and red are stunning. There is a famous tsumugi called Yuki tsumugi, which can cost up to $100,000. In spite of the cost, the tsumugi can be worn to going to meals, to the theater, and walking about town. It should not, however, be worn to high-end occasions, such as tea ceremonies and or weddings. Oshima tsumugi and Yuki tsumugi are very luxurious casual wear. Now we will switch out the obi and see how the same kimono looks with different colored obi. Noriko-san is going from iris to plum on a fence. The rank is from Nagoya to Nagoya. In Hisako-san, you can see she has gone from Nagoya to Furobi, but has gold threads on the obi. It makes it very soft. Thank you, ladies. Very, very nice. Next is the komo. wearing komo. The komo is easy to tell apart from the others because the overall design is repeated throughout in one direction. It is considered casual and used for going out to meals or tea. This kimono has tie dyes on it, which is very beautiful. The dye is painted directly on the obi, giving it vibrancy and beautiful color. The sensei will now change out the obijime. Let's see how it changes when we change the obijime. See how I can change the whole look and feel and make it look more flowery? You can play around with the obijime and find other ways to express your kimono. Now we will switch out the obi. Here we have an alternative obi. With komo using a furobi raises the rank of the whole kimono, and now she will be able to attend charity events, parties, New Year's, and other anniversaries. How do you like it? Now we'll see the difference between furobi and Nagoya obi. So just a quick recap, the obi has a hierarchy where the maru obi is the most formal. Furobi, the one sensei has, is derived from the maru obi, which is the most formal of obis. The maru obi, which has patterns on both sides, is so thick and is hard to sew together that they came up with a furo, which is a simplified version. The furo has a different color or pattern on each side and is about 165 inches long. With the length being so long, it goes around the torso and allows enough fabric to make an elaborate fold in the back. It is used for the most formal occasions. The Nagoya obi, on the other hand, is wider on one side than the other. By doing this, it makes it lighter and easier to fold. One protocol, we can use a higher rank obi on a lower rank kimono and raise the whole rank of the kimono. For example, you can use a Nagoya obi with a yukata or a furo and with a tsumugi or komo. Thank you very much. Next slide. Next, we have an example of komo. Next, I guess it was me. I was so flustered. Okay, so. Please look at my kimono, and Sensei will explain, and I'll just translate. The patterns are on my chest, the hem, the left sleeve, and the other side of my sleeve. In the back is on the shoulder and on the hand. And you can see my obi is tied in a very stylish way. Thank you.